So, Twitter and academics are both currently going nuts after news recently broke out about a physical altercation between my guy Freddie Gibbs and my guy Jim Jones and their respective entourages at Prime 112 in Miami. An altercation that allegedly saw Gibbs and his crew take the L. Now, we're still waiting on more information to come out, at least at the time of me working on this video, and there really hasn't been any video footage that has surfaced aside from what you're probably seeing on screen right now. Some guy just looking behind him, I guess, as the fight started, but for whatever reason they didn't turn their phone to it, but whatever. But anyway, according to the Vlad TV article that I saw initially, here's how it went. Apparently, the two sides bumped into one another while Jim Jones and his crew were leaving and Freddie Gibbs and his team were walking in. Jim initially approached Freddie over some negative things that Gibbs had said about him in the past. While Jim was arguing with Freddie, someone from Jim's crew punched Gibbs in the face. Freddie was then attacked personally by Jim. Freddie's large bodyguard was also hit and then kicked in the face while he was down. So they're saying that people hit the floor and were getting stomped out, and that's all bad. But it does sound like, in a little bit of that recap, it does sound like there could have been some sucker punch action, but I don't know. I mean, I guess everything is fair in the streets or in fancy steakhouses. So anyway, the main question that I'm seeing people ask is, what the hell beef did these guys even have with one another? Well, the origin of their issues dates back to 2013 when Gibbs took aim at Jim Jones for starting Vampire Life Enterprises, a brand, clothing line / music distributor, investment firm, and whatever the hell else. It's apparently a lot of stuff. But obviously this would be branded with VL and lead to Jim throwing up VL in many photos and videos, and Freddie, of course, who claims Vice Lord called him out on it in the song Freddie Soprano.
All is well when I bail, working that scale through the day and the night. This in the cell that I throw up, don't stand for vampire life. So sorry, Mr. Jones, just in your fingers to get you gone. Shout out to the Lord, shout to the folks, word to the stone.
He would then double down on this diss in June of 2013 in an interview with Closed Sessions Radio.
I think rap needs some couple diss raps and all of that, man. Rap's too nice right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it got to be a couple jabs, and I just think a lot of stuff just. You know, a lot of things, you know, the rap game and the streets let slide, you know what I mean? And like all the fake game banging and all the, you know what I mean? It's just too much for me right now, man. So I just got to speak on this stuff, you know what I mean? Jim Jones, I met you too with all that fake game banging.
Damn.
So, you know, anybody with all the, you know, because I'm Vice Lord, man, and I be seeing Jim Jones throw up the, you know, the VL, that vampire shit. I ain't with that shit, man. So it's just a lot of shit that's got to be checked, you know what I'm saying?
Now, this led to he and his entourage being shot at in Brooklyn in 2014, though he came out with no injuries. However, a friend and a bystander were both hit, but the results were ultimately non-fatal. After this, Gibbs responded in the media saying that Jim Jones couldn't have been involved with this because he's too pussy. And also he took to Twitter to mention that he was gonna chill in Harlem and remain safe, and that he ain't hard to find. After all that, Freddie would compare his situation to that of Tupac, and that was pretty much it up until now. But unfortunately, this couldn't have happened at a worse time for him, considering that Freddie is gearing up for a new album, and he's still coming off of his back and forth with academics that ultimately culminated into Act challenging him to a charity boxing match, which Freddie accepted. But you know that as I record this, Act is going crazy on his Twitch.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Jim Jones rode with some real niggas. Bro, they shot at that nigga years ago. They beat him up this time. Bro, Frederick is a fucking victim. How the fuck y'all got him talking crazy like he gonna scare me? He's just like me, a Twitter nigga.
But anyway, anyone who goes way back with me can tell you that I was a huge Dipset fan in the 2000s, and On My Way to Church by Jim Jones was literally the first album that I ever bought with my own preteen money. And, you know, I remember seeing videos of Jim jumping off stage to fight people in the crowd, and although he's accused of ducking people like True Life, it's kind of been shown that he'll get down when he needs to. Supposedly. But anyway, this beef is ancient. Jim Jones is 45, Freddie Gibbs is 39, but despite all that, you really can't tell someone how to react or when to let stuff go, I guess. You know, it's funny to me because people love to say keep that same energy, and then when that energy is actually kept, they're like, oh bro, that shit old, you should have dead at that, let it go. And I'm not saying, or I'm not encouraging any violence, any beef or anything like that. I'm just saying, some people don't really give a fuck how long it's been. If you disrespect a person to the point where they want to have you shot at, then you can't really expect that shit to not be on site. It don't matter how long it will. Okay, unless you guys actually mutually agree to squash the shit, you really can't tell somebody how to react. So it's a slippery slope considering that they never made amends with one another. And as for Freddie, there's definitely rules to the game which he should know. Some people, like I said, they don't give a shit how long it's been if you were talking reckless about them, unfortunately. But again, we're still waiting on more details to emerge, so this could all end up being horseshit. But it's probably not, because again, there is a video clip of that guy who was in the restaurant at the time that the altercation began. But that could also be horseshit. Maybe people fucking sock each other at Prime 112 or whatever every weekend. I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching or for using this as background noise. And I'm out.